In the last episode of this series where I build a free game collection, I managed to pump up that CEX credit just that little bit more. The figures are now on screen for you. So we do have a small cash balance that I can go to a boot sale today and actually buy some stuff with. Of course, I am still going to look for things to buy and maybe flip to make some more profit. And of course, I am still looking for some more CEX credit. This one is going to chop and change. We're going to go a little bit all over the place. We are not going to CEX today. That will be a completely different episode because the drama that happened in CEX over the weekend needs its own video. But for now, let's head off to our first destination. And that brings us to a little pawn shop in Gloucester, believe it or not. So they have a fairly sizable video game selection here. And this is, again, this could have gone into the drama video along with the CEX really, but I thought I would just whack it in here because it didn't have the full thing on video, so you're going to have to take my word for it here. I'm looking for promo games, obviously, but I am looking for some other stuff as well. If I can find anything cheap enough to put into the collection, because we do have a very small cash balance, then I will. And I found something. It is Assassin's Creed, like a bundle almost of games, $1.99, which I thought was really cheap. This is the American Saga, so it comes with Black Flag and a few others that I forget, but it will be on screen for you. That was $1.99, and I thought that that was a pretty good deal. I didn't have any signal in here, so I had to leave it to one side and then go outside to use signal to find out exactly how much this thing was worth. And I didn't really plan on keeping it, but I was tempted to buy it and flip it, maybe see if I could trade it into CEX. And it turns out that this thing is about 10 to 12 on eBay in good condition, but it's meant to come with multiple discs. I believe it comes with 4. I'm looking through a few other things and I can't really find anything worth noting, so I take Assassin's Creed to the counter. So it comes with Assassin's Creed 3, Black Flag and Liberation. I'm not sure how the configuration works because there are 4 discs, and I really should have shown you this, but because I had to leave and look it up and come back, I didn't film when I came back in. There were only 3 discs in the case, and I was hoping rather, that they maybe have put 1 disc behind the counter so that people wouldn't think, oh, well, I'll nick this because obviously there's a disc missing. But for $1.99, would they have done that? I don't know. I took it to the counter and I said, look, there's 3 discs in there, but there are meant to be 4. Is there maybe a disc behind or something? No, the game disc for Black Flag was missing. I already have Black Flag, so it wasn't something that I wanted to keep. In fact, I have all the Assassin's Creed on the 360, apart from Rogue, which I'm still waiting to pick up, but I refuse to pay the like £5 or £6 CEX are asking. Anyway, I did think to myself, this is a very cheap game. I don't think it goes for an awful lot. In fact, they may have had it there for like 99 pence. What I could have done, and what I probably should have done in hindsight, was to buy this anyway, and then go and pick up another copy of Black Flag for like 99 pence or something, take out the game disc from this and put it into the American Saga collection, have a complete one, and then sell it on. Because 3 into 12 is still not bad, and I do think CEX give just a little bit of trade as well. The trade on this is actually £6, so I could have bought it for 3, traded it for 6. It would have given me £3 additional trade credit, which is not bad. I mean, it's not like, oh, everybody needs to go and look for these games and try and double up on your trade, but I mean, 3 into 6 is still worth it. CEX try and get 10 for this, but it does go for 10 consistently on eBay, so I could have turned my £3 essentially into what, £7 profit. So yeah, maybe I should have done it, but he said, look, I don't have it behind here, so it is what it is. As I was leaving, because I decided to leave it obviously, I literally heard him throw it in the bin. I could hear it hit the bottom of the bin, which is really frustrating because he's just chucked that away. 3 game discs, okay, one of which is multiplayer, which I don't even think exists anymore, but still, I would have taken that for nothing, and that is going to be a story that we take into the next video. Absolutely my fault, really. Should have just bought it for $1.99, maybe even could have said to him, look, are you going to throw that in the bin? Can I have it? Can I give you £1 for it? But yeah, my fault, I know. I should have just paid him $1.99, bought my own Black Flag and walked out of there. A lot of people have success in these stores. This is another Cash Converters. I'm pretty sure this is still Gloucester. They put nearly everything they have behind glass cabinets, even the video games. I cannot be bothered to stand there with neck ache looking at their video games and then to have to go and call someone to get like a game down to see if I want to buy it or not. They have like a bargain bucket, if you will, with a couple of games that are reasonably well priced. I suppose I think Just Cause there for £1 isn't bad at all. I probably should have picked some of these up just, for filler purposes, but I decided on this occasion I just walk away. So far I have fumbled on an Assassin's Creed that I probably should have bought. Cash Converter was terrible, and now I thought let's go to some charity shops and see if we can make some money. And I found something. It's not video game related, but as I've mentioned previously in these videos, I'm not going to just focus on video games anymore when it comes to making money, because it's very, very hard to do that. Charity shops overprice video games massively because they think they're made of gold or something. And even though I do find something in a boot sale in this video to flip, it is becoming increasingly more rare that I find anything in a boot sale to flip that I don't just want to put into the collection or that someone hasn't overpriced. So when it comes to making money in this series, I am going to just have to think outside the box and not just focus on video games. That brings me to this little gem. As a few of you may know, I love football and football shirts in particular, so when I see something like this, I get very excited, even if it is Exeter City from like 2010. This isn't actually a football shirt, believe it or not, it's a training top. Now, I didn't really know that at the time. $4.99, size medium, and I mean, in very good condition considering it's a football shirt. A lot of people who wear these will know that they skag easily, you get bobbles and all the rest of it. So to find this for a £5 in a charity shop is pretty good. Now, how much is it worth? Well, it's worth, I don't know. And there's no frame of reference, because if you search this online, there's only really one image. I mean, if you search it online now, you'll probably find my listing. However, there's only really one image of this, and it's in like a magazine or something. So it's not a common top. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's worth money, unfortunately, because it's a training shirt. Had this been a third shirt that they wore in 2010, maybe in one cup game or something, yes, this would probably be worth 50, 60 quid, even though it is Exeter City. No shade to Exeter City fans, but yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. It could go for 25, 30, it could go for 12. I really don't know, but with £5, I absolutely had to pick that up. I know my money is safe. We are going to take £5 off the cash balance, and I will update you when that sells. It's not always about making money when it comes to football shirts for me, I just like having them. So in the last few videos, I've done this. I've gone on to Vinted with the Vinted balance that I had from selling PlayStation 1 games that were in my collection, and I've gone and bought PlayStation 4 games that are undervalued, cheap if you will, on Vinted, and I've gone and traded them in to CEX, and I've essentially turned my Vinted balance into a voucher. And yep, done exactly the same thing here again. Could easily have kept one or two of these games. I have had one of them before, and if I can ever get this open, I will of course show you. Again, because it's been a little while now, I have to wait for these things to turn up, etc. I can't remember how much I paid for these, but it is on screen for you, or it will be as and when I show you these. So first of which is going to be Rayman Legends, and the next of which is Sonic Forces. Now, I have had Sonic Forces before, back when it was worth just a little bit more in terms of trade. This is in really good condition. Okay, the disc isn't, but it cleaned up well enough, and I have since traded them in and it went fine, but they've kept like these little postcards in really good condition, brand new and sealed. I have got these already from the first time that I picked this up, and I have them on display on my Mega Drive collection, if you will. This is Rayman Legends. Now, this was advertised as brand new and sealed, but as you can see, it has a game or former game pre-owned label there. They don't do them anymore, of course, but as we open it, even though it has fallen off its spindle, it is in very good condition. I was very tempted to keep this because I do like myself a little bit of Rayman. However, on this occasion, even though it does come complete with the manual or whatever that is, I did decide to trade it because it did have, I think, more value in terms of trade than Sonic did. And like I said, I can't remember how much off the top of my head it traded in for. I think I got 18 for both of those combined, so maybe 10 and 8, but I can't remember how much I paid for them either. But again, updated figures on screen for you, as well as how much I paid for both of those games. So we're going well in terms of CEX credit now. I forget how much it is. I think it's like 70 something we're at, which is pretty good considering all I've done really is trade in the odd game that I had in my collection, like NHLs and stuff that I didn't really care about, that, believe it or not, are actually worth a little bit in terms of credit. And then of course I turned my PlayStation 1 collection into CEX vouchers, and I'm pretty sure I still have around £8 or so to spend on Vinted. Now, normally I'll be like, hey, next week or next episode I'll show you some more games. At the moment, I still have that balance, I haven't spent it. So watch this space, maybe in the next episode or the episode after, I'll have even more to take to CEX. However, in the next clip, we're going to visit a boot sale, the first one of the year for me, because they've all been called off up until now, and my ones that I tend to go to, some of them haven't even started yet. So this is I wouldn't say my local, because I do have to drive like 35-40 minutes to get there, but still, this is my game guy, if you will. I like to go to him, he's very consistent with what he has. He's just bought up a massive Xbox 360 collection as well, and has a lot of really nice titles in here. That Metal Gear Solid collection, for example, he has this Painkiller collector's edition. I did ask him for some prices on a few of these, so let me quickly run through some of the prices that he quoted me. I know for a fact he goes off CEX prices, however, he has a very good memory, and he doesn't ever look these things up. He will literally stand there and go, and it's almost like he's running through his Rolodex of CEX prices, and then he pops it out. It tends to be either the trade price, like the voucher, or somewhere in between the voucher and sale price. So you are going to get a better deal going to this guy, for example, than you would CEX. So Metal Gear, the collection, sells for £20 in CEX. He said it was 15, and they offer 13 in trade. So it's not like you're going to be able to go to him, buy it, and then trade it in for more. But if you do want it, you're going to get it cheaper from him than you would do from CEX. And of course, you can examine the disc and everything. Yes, there is a chance it may not work, but to be fair to him, he's there every week, and I'm sure he would possibly maybe do you a deal. But that would have been decent, to be honest, had I decided that I wanted to just spend cash on a video game, and I may do in the future. Although, having said that, I did pick something up. Before I get there though, another price that he gave me, and this was actually a really good one. You saw Silent Hill Downpour in the footage there, and I'll give you a little freeze frame. He actually quoted me £30 on this, which, believe it or not, is £18 less than CEX. 30 quid for that though, maybe could have got 27, 25 possibly. That would have been phenomenal. So you would have seen the Resident Evil 6 Steelbook. I asked him how much, he said 8, which to be fair is bang on what it's worth. On eBay, for example, you can pick it up like $9.95 free postage, so to be fair, it's in and around what it's worth. So if I ever find it in CEX, I'll pick it up. However, I don't tend to find that many special editions or steelbooks on the 360 in CEX. You see the usual suspects, the Gears of War, etc., but I never really see games like Resident Evil Steelbook, so I'll have to keep an eye out for those. I asked him about a few others and he gave me some, bang on prices, but one I caught him slipping with was Killer is Dead. This game is a bit of a weird one. Do I want to keep it? Well, yes, of course, because I do want to try and get as many Xbox 360 games as possible. This one I've looked at in CEX in Cardiff quite a few times because it's the only CEX I've ever seen with this in stock. It is complete with the manual, which I like to find, and of course the disc is in very good condition, otherwise I wouldn't have bought it. I was actually really surprised at how good the disc is. This game has gone up to the dizzy heights of £18 in CEX once upon a time. It's currently down at 12. When I bought it, it was actually 10 in CEX. How much did I pay? £5. That is a pretty good deal for a game that is worth over double that in CEX. Now, of course, I did have to use cash, so we are going to have to take it out of the cash balance, which is now dwindling somewhat. But don't worry, I am here to pump up the numbers today. It is a very good episode. So far, what have we done? We've screwed up on Assassin's Creed. We've added a game to the collection for the first time in a while. This boot sale was absolutely manic, though. I mean, this is kind of as people are setting up. So you can see there is a guy on the floor looking at trainers, and this woman is trying to set up. She's by herself. I actually felt sorry for her. We are going to pay her another visit later on in this video, though. But she was trying to set up. And, of course, once you put one bag down, that's it. People will just jump in. That guy on the floor is a reseller. You can just tell by looking at him. He is bundling shoes together, trying to get a good price on all of them, which I absolutely understand. You may have been able to hear it in the audio. I don't know how much he paid for it, but I'm pretty sure it was a good deal. Otherwise, he wouldn't have bothered. I had a little flick through some of the other tubs in the surrounding stores while I waited for her to get situated, because she was telling people she had video games, but I'm not the type of person who will just stand next to someone as they're unloading their car and wait for what I want to see. The guy in front of me there managed to get loads of loose games with manuals. None of them had were just discs. They all had manuals, and they were in this plastic sleeve. So good deal for him, I think, as he paid £2 for all of those, which is absolutely ridiculous. So unfortunately nothing in this boot sale for me other than Killer is dead, until I circled back to that woman that you saw with all the trainers. By this time she'd managed to get herself a little bit more sorted, some other things out, and there were a lot of shoes flying around the place. So I found a pair. Now AstroTurf, and you know this because I've mentioned this in a previous video, AstroTurf like shoes, trainers, they sell really quickly, really well if they're in good condition. There was a pair on the table in front of me, so I walked up and I had a little look and then asked the price.
How much do you want for those?
20 for them, mate.
Yeah, no worries.
I was immediately turned off from this stall, to be fair. I held out no hope of finding anything. 20 quid. Now, don't get me wrong. £20 isn't actually a bad price to pay for these, because they're probably worth 25, 30. They might even be worth more. But to buy those in a boot sale for 20 and then look to maybe make 25, 30, it's just not enough. You'd need to be buying them for, I mean, at the very most, you'd have to be paying a tenner. But I was kind of looking for about, £5, £6 range, because I am cheap. And of course, I would like to try and make as much money as possible, right? So left those. But then she brought out a bag.
Fiver that one is.
What about that one?
I've got games and computers in there.
Oh, okay. What did you have on that?
There's a PS2, a PS3. There's other stuff in there. If you see anything and you want to have a look, you're welcome to have a look, as long as nothing falls out.
How much did you want for it?
£3.
So here we are. Now I have since cleaned this up. It was a little bit grubby. It unfortunately isn't in the best of conditions. £3 for this is an absolute steal. Now I've said it before and I will say it again, despite the fact that this doesn't actually count. But when you're buying things like this, consoles, electronics, things that may not turn on, it may not charge, it may not connect, some of the buttons may be broken, you need to assume that it's broken. You can't go, oh, I'll buy that for £3 and sell it for 40, 50, 60 quid. You can't assume that it's going to work. You have to think, right, how much can I get for that? Spares a repair. How much would someone buy it for in broken condition? Would they want it as a display piece? Do they want the shell and they're going to try and fix it themselves? So when I bought this, I thought, look, I might be able to get 12, 15 pounds broken because it's the anniversary edition. £3 on this is an absolute steal, whether it's broken or not. I'm very happy to report that it's not broken. I have tested it with my PS5, popped in a PS4 game, because of course they don't work with PS5 games, and I played away, and it worked well. Then I had to connect it to the PC to make sure that there wasn't any stick drift. I couldn't tell within the game that there was. There are some cosmetic issues. There's like a very small crack underneath the PlayStation button, and there is a very small, again, crack, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it there, to like the headphone jack, if you will. But it all works as it should do. So at the moment I do have this up for about 40 quid, which you may think is a lot of money considering there are some cosmetic issues with it. And the fact that I bought it for 3 and trying to sell it for 40 is insane. What a markup that is. £37 profit, because everywhere right now is doing like 0% fees. That is a lot of money to make on one item. Not as much as my next item, but we'll come to that. But when I list things for a certain amount, if I list it for 40, it doesn't actually mean I'll get 40, or that I'm even expecting to get 40. If someone shoots me an offer of like 30 for this, I'll probably take it, because £27 profit is better than a kick in the nuts. Let's get to my last pickup of the day and the last action of this video, and my god, is it an action. This is a charity shop. They have a flash sale. I spotted it on the way in. It said half price on all shoes and boots. 1 day only. And believe it or not, it was the day I was there. Who'd have thunk it, right? I am actually in the right place at the right time again. What a weekend this was. So I walk into the charity shop and they've put all their shoes in the middle. Now I've been into this charity shop many, many times, and the shoes are normally at the back and they're all dotted around the place. They've put them all together in the middle of the store. Why am I not showing you any footage? I will do in a second, but I've only got the footage of the pair I picked up. There were a few pairs there that I was umming and ahhing over, and then for some reason, I don't know why I didn't see them because they're very distinct, I spotted a pair of trainers that looked pristine. And when you find a pristine, very expensive pair of trainers in a charity shop, chances are they are going to be either overpriced or fake or both. But in this instance, they weren't fake, they weren't overpriced, and I had to pick them up. These are New Balance 327s. There's like a leopard print on the side. They are absolutely vile. If you wear these, please explain to me why. But they were £20. But of course, on the way in, we saw a sign. It said half price on all shoes and boots, or boots and shoes, or whatever the sign said. So, seemingly, these were a tenner. Or were they? Yes, they were. So I had to buy them, and here they are. Now these are a women's shoe. Leopard. I'm not saying men can't wear leopard print, beige leopard print. The issue with these is they are very, very big. I'm not judging the size of your feet by any stretch, but they are a 9.5 and they are a woman's shoe. That is very, very uncommon. The most common sizes I sell for women's shoes tend to be between 4 and 6, maybe 7. Never, ever have I had, that's difficult to say, a 9.5 in a UK. So how long will I have them for? I don't know. But these are brand new. They have never been worn. They still have the stickers on the inside. They still had the paper on the inside. Unfortunately, it didn't come with a box, but as I mentioned, they still had the paper that they came with when they were brand new. So these have never been worn outside of maybe being tried on. And they are not a rare colourway necessarily, but they're not that common and they are very expensive. Believe it or not, they are £160 brand new. With that being said, I have them listed quite high. I put them up initially for like 140. Again, not expecting to hit 140 because they don't have a box and they are a 9.5. And size matters, believe it or not, when it comes to shoes. I am looking for a very specific person here. So it's not like it's, 9.5 is a common size they're going to sell really, really quickly. I'm looking for that specific person who needs a 9.5, who likes these. It's not an everyday sale. So I've lowered the price considerably at this point. I think they're down to like 120, 125 or something like that. They will sell for a substantial amount, I'm sure. But with that being said, we have another £18 in CEX voucher. That is coming along nicely. Hopefully in the next episode I can show you yet another Vinted pickup because that is working a treat right now. And I will go to CEX. I find something, but there is a problem. Not happy about it. It's one of those things, but you can look forward to that in the next episode. If you want to check out the last episode, you can click here. And until the next time, goodbye.